Hi, my name is Paul Thompson. I'm the Employment Skills Manager for an organisation called the South Midlands Authorities. The area comprises Bedfordshire, Northamptonshire, Luton and Milton Keynes. What I'm going to do today is just take you through the labour market and where some of the opportunities are and where they will be in the future. The area has a diverse range of employment opportunities. You can see through the sectors here how many different types that we actually have in the area, and that employment is fairly widely spread. In fact, employment's been steadily going up since the pandemic. We've had a slight drop off these last 6 months with the election and everything else, but it will bounce back. And I'm pleased to say that employment levels actually are still higher than pre-pandemic. The job vacancies have followed a similar pattern to employment. In fact, we saw a tremendous increase in job vacancies as we came out of the pandemic, and that's been a similar pattern for the last couple of years. It has dropped off a little bit again this year, but it's still at a very, very high level. In fact, it's considerably higher than it was pre-pandemic, and there's still plenty of opportunities there. Now, the job opportunities are spread across a wide range of occupational groups. You'll see on the left-hand side here the groups as we've defined them. Certainly engineering and manufacturing, sales, marketing, procurement, business and admin, transport, logistics, health, education, legal, finance, accounting are the main areas, but there's also plenty of opportunities within construction, catering and hospitality, care, cleaning, auto services, all these kind of areas as well. We've seen a significant growth in the STEM, the science and technology, engineering and mathematics related occupational groups. So certainly in engineering and manufacturing, in the transport and logistics side, on health, education as well, particularly there for STEM secondary teachers and primary school teachers, in construction as well. Big growth. So there's plenty of opportunity there for everybody at all different levels. So part of the work that we do is consultation with employers to find out what their skills needs are. And it's interesting how that's kind of changed over the last few years, but I'll come back to that in a moment. If you actually look at employability skills, we've kind of defined it as 5 different elements. So there's attitudes and behaviours, and that includes kind of things like with the work ethic. When you are at work, you do work. Being detail orientated, caring and having a bit of passion about what you do, being willing to learn, being self-motivated and being flexible and independent working have come to the fore, certainly with a lot more home working. But there's also elements within this that you would expect to be treated yourself. So being honest, reliable, polite, all these kind of things. The core transferable skills, very important part. The communication is important, so expressing yourself and being able to listen. Having organisational skills, having digital literacy, and I'll come back to that again in a moment as well, but also a whole bunch of other skills that are there, such as problem solving, leadership, time management, teamwork, collaboration, in particular resilience. Things are not always going to go right, and it's your ability to bounce back that can be really important. You've got the technical and vocational side. These are more directly related to specific jobs and careers. So you'll see things in there like the STEAM, which is STEM, as I mentioned earlier, but with art added in, but also commercial acumen, financial awareness, so understanding money and handling money. Customer service is a big one as well in lots of different sectors. And in some occupations, you need to be able to work with your hands, etc. And in some, you need to be able to drive as well. There's the basic skills, so literacy and numeracy, and I would advocate do as well as you possibly can in your GCSEs whilst you're at school. Your English and maths are really important. If you can get them out of the way as early as possible, it will really help you. And then the qualifications and certifications. So there's lots of different types of qualifications. Those are academic, like your GCSEs and your A-levels. Technical qualifications, like your BTECs, T-levels, that kind of thing. And then there's certification. So these are things which sometimes are what we call licenses to practice. So you have to have this certification before you can do something. A typical one is the CSCS card, which you must have in construction before you can work on site. Now, the importance of these skill sets are demonstrated by this graph. This shows us the change in demand from employers for those particular groupings. And you'll see that 2 in particular have grown over the last few years. So attitudes and behaviours and core transferable skills are essential. So for yourselves, the important thing, go back to that list that I have, and you will get a copy of these slides. It's actually making sure you know what those skills are, and that you can demonstrate that you actually can possess them, and you've got evidence of that. It's really, really important. Basic skills has remained fairly flat, as you'd probably expect. Technical and vocational has moved down a little bit, mainly because of the shift in jobs and also the nature of way employers are employing people these days. They are actually being a bit more flexible about who they employ for certain roles, and they are relying much more on the attitudes and behaviours and core transferable skills, which sometimes means they will take people from different disciplines to do certain kind of jobs. The last one on there is the qualifications and certification. You can see that's a fairly negative line. Now, the main one here is that the employers are seeing less and less value in the academic qualifications once you're in employment. For your first job, your qualifications are vital. They really, really are, because it's one of your ways of evidencing that you've got some of these skill sets. So please do not misinterpret this graph. I'm not saying that qualifications are not important. For your first job, they definitely are. So I mentioned a moment ago digital literacy. One of the big growths on the skills side has been on the digital technology and the digital skills. Digital literacy for us is very much about Microsoft Office kind of related products. So things like Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, that kind of thing. But doing presentations and spreadsheets are all part of that. And that is an increasing demand that we are seeing. If you're interested in kind of programming and the actual computer kind of development and software development side, these are the languages that are in big demand at the moment. The one that's growing and shooting up the charts at the moment is Python. That really has kind of gone up the list every year that we've kind of produced this data. And then there's plenty of other applications and software development opportunities and software engineering and skills needs that are out there for people who really want to kind of play in this field. Data management in particular is one. Data becoming just a huge thing at the moment within the kind of digital world. Just one other quick thing as well, it's very unlikely now that you're going to get into a job where you do not actually work with a computer in some shape or form, and generally it will tend to be Microsoft Office and normally it's Microsoft Excel. So make sure you know how to use them, how to apply them, work with them. If you're familiar with the Google Sheets, then that's fine. They work in exactly the same way. Now I just talked about digital skills. Well, the importance of those skills will only increase going forwards. Artificial intelligence in particular is going to have a big impact and the way that we actually use it and interact with it. Other areas as well, Internet of Things, 5G, data science, analytics, they're already having an impact. That will just kind of grow and grow and grow. Just one thing on artificial intelligence, there's a lot of press and noise out there about it replacing jobs. To be fair, artificial intelligence doesn't replace jobs, it replaces tasks, it changes tasks. What that means is people's jobs will change because they'll either be able to do more with artificial intelligence or it will replace some of the functions that they do. We're very tight on the labour market as at the moment. We haven't really got enough people. So if this can help along the way, it will actually be a major benefit. Other areas that will kind of have an impact, technology and automation already is. If you go into some of these warehouses in particular, kind of locally, there's a lot of automation there. The environment, net zero, will have an impact as well, creating lots more jobs. Labour costs and globalisation, businesses have got to be cost effective. So if they can adopt automation, if they can adopt technology, artificial intelligence, things like that to help reduce labour costs, then they will. And the other factor is an ageing population. Hello, I'm one of them. Sadly, we do have an ageing population and people are going to need looking after. And so that will be a big factor as well, kind of going forwards. The main sectors, the main areas that all of this will have an impact on, and I'm pleased to say these are the areas that we are very good at locally. Certainly modern methods of construction, so actually building houses in factories rather than actually on site and then delivering on site and assembling them there will become more and more popular. There's lots of stuff going on with aerospace and space locally, particularly satellites. Manufacturing, so additive kind of production, that kind of thing, so 3D printing of materials and products. It's becoming much more common now. Intelligent mobility, driverless vehicles, smart transport, that kind of thing. Milton Keynes in particular is a centre for this. Logistics, big changes in logistics. I already mentioned the automation side within the warehouses, but we've had things like the Starship kind of delivery vehicles. Drones have become more popular as well and used, and there are experiments going on locally with that at the moment. We've got green technology kind of having an impact on automotive, so not just on electrical, but it will also be hydrogen as well. Health and care, we're seeing lots more developments, certainly on lots of care in the home, which is being monitored remotely now using technology. The creative side will be big in the area. There's lots of exciting things happening at the moment, but with studios and media and things like that, and that will continue. Agri-tech, so you'll start to see kind of automated tractors and robotics actually used in the field. Already they're using drones to actually scan for fertilizers and watering and all kinds of things like that. And then green economy, net zero. Big impact here, certainly on the construction sector, where a thing called retrofit, where we had to kind of fit solar panels and air source heat pumps and things like that to houses and insulate as well. But also on new build, and then also new technology as well kind of being adopted within that area. So the future is quite bright. There's going to be lots and lots of opportunities there. So this slide just shows you really which main kind of occupational groups will be impacted by these big changes. So the automation ones will certainly drive changes in occupations within digital, engineering, technology, education, healthcare. The net green zero, scientific research in particular, but all the other kind of occupational groups you see there. The population serving one, we also have a growing youth population as well. So whilst we've got health and care in there, particularly for the kind of ageing population, education will be a growing sector for us going forwards. Now there's lots of different career pathways you can take to kind of get to the career of your choice. I'm not going to go through all of them today. But one thing I will say to you is that there is not necessarily a better way or a worse way to get to that career that you desire. You will need to do some research and find out what pathways are available to you, and there could well be more than one. But it's the conventional routes that we used to perhaps have in the past are disappearing. So the introduction of higher level and degree level apprenticeships have opened things up. The digital sector has really shaken the tree in terms of how it recruits and how it gets people. So please invest some time, do some research and find the pathway that suits you best. Now I'm pleased to say, because of some of the major investments that have been made and some of the fantastic kind of managerial decisions as well across the area, we have some of the best colleges now in the country. It's quite a broad range. They're spread right the way through the South Midlands. We do have some specialist colleges, so Moulton College and Shuttleworth College, land-based colleges covering mainly agriculture, animal care and zoology, that kind of thing. We also have the National College of Motorsport as well at Silverstone. The South Central Institute of Technology specialises in digital skills and certainly at a slightly higher level. And again, a unique opportunity to study somewhere different that's going to give you some real value added qualifications when you start to look for work. And similarly, we have some pretty good universities in the area as well. The University of Northampton and the University of Bedfordshire both offer courses which are absolutely directly relatable to the labour market and much in demand by employers. We have MKU offering kind of higher level and degree level apprenticeship pathways. The University of Buckingham offering kind of medical education actually at the hospital in Milton Keynes. And then moving forwards, you have the Open University, very much kind of based online learning, and we have Cranfield University on the postgraduate type education, and also kind of plenty of short courses, and in particular specialising in management. Lots of research going on there as well. Certainly the Open University and Cranfield University are world-leading establishments. There are other pathways out there. There's numerous organisations that can actually provide different pathways for you into the world of work. Predominantly they're linked to apprenticeships and kind of other pathways to suit particular individuals. but certainly worth exploring again. And you may well come across some organisations when you start to do your research that are outside of the conventional colleges and university pathways. There are plenty of resources out there to help you find information about careers and pathways to them. We've supplied a few links within these slides, so please, take the time, have a look through them, because it could give you some career options that you might not have thought. And what we've also done is provided some links to some of the specific sectors and occupational groups where we have need and where we feel that there will be need in the future. Well, I hope that's been of use to you. I wish you every success for the future. And please, use the resources available to you and use the careers services within the school. Take care. Cheers.